All right, with this one, we wrap up the NFL head coaching sweepstakes by talking about former defensive coordinator Dennis Allen being promoted to the head coaching position for the New Orleans Saints. I was able to get Dennis Allen back in August of 2018, who signed both of these photos for me. So I think that brings me to 5 of the head coaching positions out of the 9 that were available. The only one I didn't discuss on a video was Kevin O'Connell. That was a card I purchased. I'm not going to count those. I want to help you guys get some ideas on who to write to TTM. And considering that he's staying with the same team, I could very well see him signing going forward. But it's a little bit of an interesting hire. He is another head coach that has former experience at that level in the NFL. But he started off as a defensive back that was an undrafted free agent for the Buffalo Bills, practice squad offseason member, never played a game in the NFL. And then almost immediately after was a graduate assistant for Texas A&M, spent a few years there, went to Tulsa for a couple years, and then made the jump up to the NFL. Started his career off there with the Atlanta Falcons as an assistant, and then had his first stint with the New Orleans Saints, kind of filling in some different positional coaching roles. And in 2009, he was part of that coaching staff that went on to win the Super Bowl. Leapfrogged from that to the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator role in 2011. And from there, he landed the head coaching position for the Oakland Raiders from 2012 into the first 4 weeks of the 2014 season. I didn't really start getting as involved with football and watching it until 2014, mainly because of Derek Carr signing a card for me. So I was definitely following the Raiders at that time, and they started off the season 0-4. He was fired from there after having an 8-28 record. So, just from the looks of it, it looked like he didn't have what it took to be a head coach. But you also have to consider just how poorly ran for the longest time, and maybe even still now, the Oakland Raiders and now Las Vegas Raiders have been. So who knows? And then he went back to New Orleans as the defensive coordinator, which is a position he has held since 2015, and now he's getting promoted. What works out really well, I think, for the New Orleans Saints with this, and I have his defensive metrics on the right side, just the very basic ones, as he was a defensive coordinator for them. When he started off there, they were one of the worst defenses in the league, and they had been for quite a while. They were, lower, mid to low in the NFL, and everything was kind of being held together with the offense, with Sean Payton and Drew Brees really leading all that. They were really good on the offensive side, but they often had to be because their defense was so poor. So Dennis Allen comes in, and those first 2 years were awful. I think that was during the time when Drew Brees' 7 passing touchdown game was matched with Eli Manning's 6 passing touchdown game during one of the last good Giants seasons that there were. And they were Swiss cheese. Anyone could, get past their defenders. They weren't generating a major pass rush, anything like that. But with a couple of drafts and the inclusion of some very talented players, Dennis Allen was able to get the most out of them. Because you see in 2017, they jumped from one of the lower end or lowest end of the defensive metrics to kind of middle of the pack. Their secondary got a lot better with the additions of guys like Marshawn Lattimore. Von Bell was really good for them for some time. And each year they kind of got, just a little bit better. But the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021, they were amongst the best defenses in the league. But this was also at the same time that the offense really wasn't that good. So in 2020, we all saw the decline of Drew Brees' play and everything, but the team was still good enough to make it into the playoffs because of just how good the defense was, being 4th in yards, 5th in points. And then this past year, they regressed even further on offense because there was no identity to it. And yet there was still a chance, I think, for them at the very end of the year to make the playoffs, just with how talented their defense is. So when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, I don't think they're going to have too many worries about the defense falling off. They might regress a little bit. They may not be a top five, even with Dennis Allen as the head coach. We'll have to see who he brings in as a defensive coordinator. The question is going to be the offense and how they improve that, as well as with their cap situation, which he doesn't really have a say in any of that. So I'm going to be curious to see how much of the staff he retains, because they may not let him get rid of so many guys in case Sean Payton does come back. But I'm curious to see how he does on the offensive side, because that's where they really need it, and that's where he really lacked during his tenure with the Oakland Raiders. So let me know what you guys think. With this, I think I said I had 5 out of the 9 of the head coaching vacancies filled. I'm going to write to a few of the newer ones that have been hired, and maybe we can add those to the list. I think this brings me as well to 20 out of 32 NFL head coaches. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.